not just the Southeast Atlanta shooting leading to calls for change. The death of Ahmaud Arbery is playing a crucial role at the state capitol to pass a hate crimes law. Arbery was shot and killed in Brunswick, Georgia back in February after police say 3 white men chased him down. But none of them were arrested or charged until video of the confrontation surfaced on social media in May. Leading Republicans in the legislature say they are hopeful a hate crimes bill can pass before the legislative session ends. The General Assembly reconvened today after suspending in March. 11 Alive's Doug Richards is at the Capitol now with more on what's moving.
The committee chairman, a soft-spoken senator from Waynesboro named Jesse Stone, told us today that the hate crimes bill didn't have enough votes to get out of the Judiciary Committee earlier this year. But he says that has been changing. There were hundreds of protesters outside the Capitol as lawmakers convened this morning, fueled by the Arbery case and by the killing of Rayshard Brooks by an Atlanta police officer Friday night. The Brooks case triggered protests over the weekend and into today. The Georgia House of Representatives passed a hate crime bill last year, but the Senate hasn't touched it. Today, Republican House Speaker David Ralston spoke about the Arbery case and called on the Senate to pass the bill.
If we leave here this session without passing a hate crimes bill, House Bill 426, it will be a stain on this state that we can never wash away.
Georgia is one of 4 states that has no hate crimes law. Ralston pointed out that the bill has been stuck in the Senate for 465 days. State Representative Eric Allen told us that he dropped a bill today that would require a body camera on every police officer in Georgia. Ralston told House members that he would make police reform bills a priority in next year's legislative session. Today, I talked with the chairman of the Senate committee that has held up the hate crimes bill since last year. He told me that he is optimistic that a bill will pass before this session ends. We'll hear from him on 11 Alive News at 6.